Yeah, I'm Loving Me Project. And guess what? Today, which I am so thrilled and happy, we celebrate our third anniversary. We've been doing this consistently for 3 years, hoping to bring you some great interviews for some great women, helping to inspire you to not only love yourself, but do a self transformation. So, I remember when I got this vision in 2018. I was saying to myself, I need to be able to change my life, and I started working on the practices and reading the books and getting the coaching and the therapy and everything. And I said to myself, well, how many other women out there are feeling the same way? And so I started this platform with the intent of helping you understand that at any point in your life, whenever you're ready, transformation can happen. And that all those things that you really want in your life, they're not airy fairy, they're real and you can have them. Um, it takes a change of a mindset, it takes you getting out of your comfort zone, and it takes you really deciding to love yourself and to choose yourself. So, it's been 3 years where we've been doing this. We've been encouraging you and helping you along those paths. We've been developing programs and events to allow you to connect with us and to really build this sisterhood. So I'm super excited and pumped up. I'm trying to think what I'm gonna do today. It's kind of rainy here, so I don't know, but I am so happy about it. Thank you guys for all of the calls, the texts. Trust me, it's only going to get better and better for the next years to come. Like I told you guys, I found my purpose. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. It is not work to me, it's a mission, it's a calling, and I just love it. So, I wanted to talk about, do you know your emotional triggers? And the only reason why I brought that up because I was reading this article this morning, and it was talking about how we as people, especially women, we go through these things where we have our emotional triggers and we don't even know what's triggering us, or we don't even know that we have emotional triggers. And it was so interesting that they had this document, and I wanted to share it with you. Not a document, but like a little graphic to let us know what the triggers are. I think I put it up here. Let me see if I can show it on the screen for you. The screen is going to split, okay? But I want to show you exactly what it is because I thought this was going to be like a fun exercise. Let me see if I can move over. I thought this was going to be like a fun exercise to do because when we are trying to navigate ourselves, like every time I come on here and I talk about you got to look at your mindset, you have to, be aware of your feelings, you have to be aware of those things that are going on around you, you have to understand and know what other people are saying and doing to you, how they're speaking life into you. Some of those things that people say or what they do or the relationships you have can kind of trigger you, right? And one of the things that I learned early on is the things that trigger me is being in environments where I feel where I'm not safe, where I really feel challenged, where I feel like, you know, uh, uh, someone is being very disrespectful to me, and when some people are blaming me, right, for different things. So, I saw this chart. I thought it was amazing because I think it'll be helpful for you as you go along, especially think about it, especially when you look at your relationships, right? Intimate work relationships or anything. When we talk about what triggers us, we know that when people trigger us to put ourselves in any one of these moods, that is really not them, right? These are the things that we felt back then that is coming up again. And the moment that we realize that and are aware of it, the moment that we can deal with it, and then we can move past it, and then we won. We won that battle. Does that make sense? When I tell you guys, we have to be able to use our tools in order for it to help us as we navigate through life, because self transformation is not easy. You've been doing the same thing for years and years and years and years, right? So when you look at this little graphic, and it's a little picture that I found, especially think about your relationships when someone you're talking to, and you guys are arguing back and forth, and you trying to figure out why you guys are arguing. It might be because you felt judged or you felt unheard, right? Now, it's not saying that that's what the people are saying to you, and it's not that that's what they're expressing to you. That's exactly what you felt. And I give you guys an example. So I was at my client's place last week, right? And we were sitting there, and I was talking to one of the guys, and as we were talking, I said, "Oh, here's a paper that you can use in order to do this." And he snatched it out my hand. Okay, that's trigger number one. He snatched it out my hand. And then he grabbed it and he said, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is what I needed. This is what I needed." And yeah, you can don't worry about it. You could go back to where you are, and then we'll be fine. And I said, "Okay." Now in that moment, I had to say to myself, "Gloria, how are you feeling?" Right? First, I was a little bothered because you snatched the damn paper out my hand, right? The second thing is that you wasn't paying attention to what I was saying. I felt like I wasn't being heard because you thought that you had all of the answers and you wasn't listening to what I was saying, right? So that put me in a position where those two things that set off my trigger put me in a state in which I wanted to go ahead and cuss his ass out. Right? Only because I felt like you were violating my space. Two, you were being disrespectful. Three, you wasn't listening to me, right? And four, I felt like you was trying to just, dismiss me, right? Now, those are all the things that's going on in my head that I think that he did, right? He probably got a totally different thing that he was thinking, and he was, right? But I had to go back and I had to collect myself. And this is the thing where I tell you, you're observing yourself. You're not rationalizing why people do what they do. And you're not giving them a pass, if that makes sense. What you're doing is you're trying to figure out if this thing is a trigger for you or not. And it was, because you know what I was thinking? I have this thing in the back of my head, and still do, that when you are working in a field that's male dominated, a lot of men try to overpower you and use their masculinity and their alpha male thing to prove that they're smarter than you, right? They also want to show you that even though you're in this position, especially if you are a woman or whatever, you're here only because there is Not because that you're very smart, but because either you had to fill a quota or you had to do little work or whatever it is, right? So the reason why those things triggered me, what he did, is because in the back of my head, I was thinking he don't respect me because I'm a woman and he's playing that masculine game, right? He's not hearing me because he feels like he's better than me, right? And then I have to look at myself like, do you believe he's better than you? And the answer is no. So I'm saying to myself, well, why do you care what the hell he thinking? He's probably, and he's not even thinking that. That's what you thinking. Why do you care that he is using his masculinity and you thinking it has something to do with you because you are a female? That's how you feel. It's like what they say, those are your thoughts. Those are the things that you thinking. Those are the things that you think is happening. Where they on a whole nother playing field doing something totally different. But when we see things that look familiar to us, and when we experience those things that we feel are familiar to us, it triggers us and it sends us off. Trust me, right? I told you guys that I'm sitting here and I am using my things to I'm dating now. Let me just say that cuz even now I can't even say it. Don't y'all, that's a whole nother thing, right? And so for me, I'm saying to myself like I don't want to be in a situation where I feel, like I'm being triggered. What will trigger me is, like if you when I talk to you and we have an argument, I don't hear stuff. I go deaf. I don't hear anything because the whole arguing back and forth thing, that's a trigger for me and I shut down. I'm kind of sort of listening, but I'm not really listening, right? And I'm saying to myself, I don't want to go through all of that. I don't want to feel like that. But the whole time, y'all, those are my own thoughts. I When we were at the retreat and I was talking about it, they was like, Gloria, what is wrong? Why don't you just go and date and live and have fun? And I'm like, yeah, I want to, but I don't want to be in a position where I'm feeling, a certain kind of way, or I feel like I gotta be, not myself. And it's like, no, you making all that stuff up. You making everything up. And most of the time, when we get triggered in a certain way, it's bringing back those old things. Does that make sense? Think of the time where you felt judged. And then when you in an environment where you feel judged again, and listen to what I'm saying, when you feel, because it might not be true. That's why you can't trust your feelings. You trust your gut. Your God gave you the spirit of discernment. You can't put your emotions into it, right? Because your emotions can lie to you. You in a situation where you feel judged, guess what happens? You believe that you can't be yourself because everybody around here is judging you, right? The moment that you feel like a situation you can't control and you're not able to, get out there and do what you need to do and handle things the way that you want things to be handled, you start to feel powerless, right? Because you could not put your hands on stuff and handle it yourself. You could not go ahead and solve the problem yourself, right? When you feel blame, when you feel like things are unfair, and it's like, look, dealing with stuff where you felt things were unfair and it's triggering for you. I know for me, I have that. I start acting out where I'm like, it was unfair what this person did. And it might not have been unfair, but it was unfair to me because what's unfair to me, and I could tell you, let me tell you what's unfair to me is if I am doing something for someone and somebody else is doing something too, we should have an easy playing field. Anytime that playing field goes up or down or whatever, and we can't get on the same page, but that person gets the credit and I feel like I don't, right? And I worked just as hard. When we look at like our jobs, I feel like it's unfair, right? Or if it's a situation where I'm being held accountable, but another person is not being held accountable, and they're getting away with murder, in my head, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm sitting up here busting my ass trying to make sure everything is right and I dot every I and cross every T. I feel like that is unfair. But see, these things trigger that and trigger these emotions. But think about it, ladies. Most of the time, we don't know what the hell is going on. We don't get the full picture of the full story of anything. We just focus on what our feelings is telling us and what our triggers is telling us, and we go off of that. That's why we lose relationships personally, professionally. We lose friends. We do all of that because we don't know how to check our emotions. We don't know how to check our triggers. We don't know how to put ourselves in a situation where we become self-aware of what's going on in our environment because we only look at what we feel people are doing to us and we act out of that, right? We don't see that these triggers we have go back to when we were young. If something happened to you when you were younger and you now have kids, let's say you were sexually assaulted and you now have kids, and your kids are so excited to spend a night at somebody's house, and your kids are so excited to go play with their friends, and you meet the parents and you do all that stuff or whatever, and you know the kids are always upset because you say no. It's because you are still thinking about what happened to you. You are going to protect them. And this whole scenario that's going on with you meeting the parents and the kids wanting to go to spend a night and all of that stuff is triggering you because you remember. Does that make sense? You remember how all of that stuff went and how you was put in a position where you wasn't safe. So you tell yourself that I'm going to protect them. You get it? You're not looking or evaluating the situation in front of you. You are only looking at what happened to you. It triggered you. and you're responding to that. I hope that makes sense, right? And you would say, "Look, Gloria, look, I understand, but no way. That's just how it's going to be because then I know for sure that they safe because I'm looking at them, right? And I know for sure that nothing will happen to them because they're here with me. Now, their kids could come to my house because I know for sure that I would keep them safe. You don't know that, right? But these triggers that we have, and what my point is to you, stops us from love, relationships, good jobs, and everything. All because we don't know how to check them when they happen. We react, right? You in a situation where somebody says, I don't want to be with you anymore, immediately that might trigger you feeling like you being abandoned again because somebody years ago told you that they don't want to be with you and they abandoned you. And so, what does our mind do? We go back to say, here we go again. There's another relationship that I'm losing. I don't know why this keeps happening to me. I don't know why people just keep leaving me. The only thing that I want to do is just be loved. I give my all to people and they just get up and they leave. They just abandon me. And I don't know why. Where when you know your triggers, and a trigger is something that you feel that makes you emotionally react. When you know your triggers, it's totally different. Because when they say, I don't want us to be together no more, I don't think this is working, and you start to feel that feeling, and that pit in your stomach comes, and you feel and you know that things are about to be off the chain, that's your trigger. Now you get to breathe and you say, all right, I heard you. It triggered me. Is making me think that this is another failed relationship. But let me go ahead and look at myself right quick. And let me go ahead and evaluate this relationship right quick instead of going off of my emotional triggers. Now I know you ain't feeling that in the moment. You get what I'm saying? We ain't feeling none of that in the moment because what we doing is we react. Most of us react to those triggers. And what I'm trying to get you to do and see is that think before you react because your trigger is going to set you off. But I want you to think before you react, right? I want you to see that the situation that you in is a lot bigger than that trigger that you think you need to go ahead and go off on a person or react to, right? So whenever it is that you feel triggered, you have to take a breath first and ask yourself, because I do, trust me, I do this 15 times a day, 15 times a day or more. And you ask yourself, what is bothering me? The fact of what he said, the fact of what she did, and am I being triggered? Do I feel like this person disrespected me? Do I feel this person is judging me, is blaming me? Do I feel like this person is abandoning me? And then you ask yourself, why am I feeling that? Why am I feeling like I'm in this position? And I'm trying to tell you what the answer is going to be. What's going to happen is your mind is going to say, because you were here before. You were here before. Because you went through this 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 2 months ago. And because you went through this, it didn't work. So here it is again, and it's not going to work. Where it's not true. You're not looking at the situation. You're looking at what happened in the past and you reacting to that. Okay? You got to be able to know what makes you tick. You got to know your triggers. Not the ones that you pay attention to that you know already, the ones where, the kids know and they say, well, we're not going to tell mommy because she going to go off, you know. And my kids know and my grandkids know not to come and tell me XYZ, not that. I'm talking about the ones that you can't see, where somebody can't have a good conversation with you because when they sit up there and tell you their honest opinion, you start to feel attacked. You're not listening. That's a trigger. When somebody wants to be able to give you some praise and show you some love, you discount it because you feel like somebody that they want something from you and you can't even enjoy it. That's a trigger. When you feel like in certain environments that when you walk into rooms or you are in places where you feel unsafe because you remembering what happened to you, that's a trigger. And remember, the trigger is the emotion you feel from something that has happened to you and is coming up again, and you're reacting to that, not the thing that is going on right now. Your gut, that thing that you should listen to, that feeling that you get, that divine feeling that you get where you like, nah, something in me is telling me not to do these things, is a different thing. That's your intuition. Okay? So I thought that would be a good exercise for you to, when you go throughout your day or the weekend and everything, see what your emotional triggers are. When people start talking to you, or you see a post on social media from somebody you don't like, or you looking at different things and it starts to frustrate you, you feel judged, you feel like you need to clap back, or you think something is unfair or whatever, ask yourself the question, why is this triggering me? It's just a meme on social media. That's all it is. But why is it bothering you? Why is it triggering you? Because, Gloria, I think it's unfair. That's fine to have your own opinion, but you don't need to react, right? Somebody says something that you don't like and you go off and cuss them out. They was only stating their opinion. Well, I just felt like it was unfair and wrong and they needed to be corrected. What was the trigger for you? You felt like you was being judged. You felt like they was attacking you and all in your space. We got to be able to check ourselves. The biggest thing that we can learn in loving ourselves is being able to manage our emotions in anything. In anything. And that's not easy to do. Because when those triggers fire off, sometimes we don't even know what comes out of our mouths. We just go off, right? But in everything, we have the opportunity to think first, then act. And that's all I'm asking. Okay? Think first, then act. And then watch how your life change. Your manager saying some bullshit now that you got to log on to Zoom and have a meeting 8:15, 9:30, 12, 12:30, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and you're like, why are we having all these damn Zoom meetings? And I think they're a waste of time, and we got to work on this project and do this and do that, and he really don't know nothing. That ain't none of your business. Let that person be that person. And if it's making you frustrated, ask yourself why. Why is it triggering my frustration? Deep down inside, do you believe you need to be there? That you should have had their spot? Figure that out. And I bet you it'll fall off really quick. So that's all I got for you, ladies. Thank you so much. Please like and share this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube too. And like I said, it is our third anniversary. We've been doing this for 3 years. I am so excited. I don't know what I'm going to do today, but I'm going to celebrate somehow. I thank all of you for everything. Y'all know I love y'all, and we got so much stuff that we're going to do within the next coming year. I just can't wait. So I got to get out of here. I got to get myself to work and go make some people happy. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. All right. Bye.